This is Hot Mike. Hot Mike. On the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo. It's that time. An author.
Offensive production, number 1. Number 2. I forgot.
Golfer.
It'd be like going on a 3-person best shot, and we were saying, Kolpack, you got to make a 25-footer every time. You wouldn't putt first. I'd have Tim putt first.
And one heck of a TV personality.
This game is for the Cooper Cup.
It's the Forum's Jeff Kolpack.
4. I should have yelled 2.
All right, it is game week for North Dakota State football. The Bison open up 2025 on Saturday in Charleston, South Carolina. New state for the Bison. They've never played a game in the state of South Carolina, Jeffrey, but that will end come 11 a.m. on Saturday morning.
At a military school, no less, which I think is going to be really cool. It was 43 degrees this morning?
Yeah.
It's football.
Yeah.
It's football season.
It ain't going to be 43 in Charleston. No. Although, look, our Storm Tracker act says
it could have been a lot worse.
It's going to be – Maurice Drayton was on the show on Friday begging for the weather to change because he said, it's going to be great. Come on down. It's going to be 80 degrees. I mean, some humidity, which, again, it's South Carolina in August, so what else do you expect? But nothing close to what we were fearing potentially could be the case.
My story on Inform this morning on the Jim Cramer salt diet, and that all started, 15 years ago now. Sanford did a study to find out which players tend to lose salt faster when they sweat it out. They wore like some sort of sweat patches in this study, and they parlayed that study into the 2013 K-State game and figure out which players tended to lose more salt, which can lead to cramping. Well, in the fourth quarter, as we know, it was the K-State players, the more southern team that worked out and trained at training camp in the hot weather. They were the ones cramping in the fourth quarter. And meanwhile, the Bison went 80 yards in 18 plays in most of the quarter.
It's funny, Kramer in your story was lamenting it wasn't hot enough during the summer. It got a little bit during fall camp. And I know we were up at practices several times where they turned the AC off inside the building. The AC was off inside the dome. Like they even turned it off there last week because they were practicing a couple times inside the Fargo Dome.
No stone unturned when it comes to preparation in college football. They just go the extra mile. I saw the players as they're leaving the dome practice last week. They had like a cup of fruit and some other stuff. And then there are a couple of salt shakers. I go, wow, I got a gym. It's still a thing, huh?
Yeah.
And some of the supplements have gotten better since then and more refined. But salt is the basic premise of those too. And so they'll be hydrating all week. But to your point, it's not going to be 100 degrees in Charleston like they feared.
All right, so we feel like we've been talking about this football team for the better part of 3 months. But now here it is, game week. What do you have questions on? Or, hey, I need to see this answered on Saturday.
Yeah, nothing's changed. It's the age-old answer now since January. When was the game? January 6th? January 7th. Can Cole Payton throw the ball? Yeah. We've been asking everything. Just waiting to see that.
Yep.
I think he can. I've seen it in practice for the most part. He looks confident. Looks the part. Now we'll see how it happens when things are flying in real time. But that's obvious. It's such an obvious number one. I think the defense is going to be pretty good.
I think the defense is going to be the strength of the team. I said that to Polsek in our preseason interview. I think they are 2012 good. You remember that 2012? And people like 2012, 13 years ago. The 2012 defense made up for the lack of whatever the offense didn't have that year. And they were dynamite. I think they have the potential to be really, really good this year.
I'm curious to see how much Elijah Wayne will play in the defensive line as part of the rotation. Certainly seems like he's going to see.
I think quite a bit. I do.
Certainly seems like it.
We've not seen that before. We have not seen a true freshman play defensive tackle in the Division I era and I'll go back to 2006. We've seen redshirt freshmen play. Yeah. We've not seen not a true freshman play. And there's a distinction there. Because it's a year with Kramer that when you get to play a redshirt. Nate Tangway was a redshirt freshman playing defensive tackle. Elijah Wayne is I think a different animal in that spot. I think that's a good one. To me, it's the new look offensive line. How is that going to gel in front of Cole Payton? Because you're replacing 3 veteran starters there, namely 2 are playing in the National Football League. How's that going to look for game 1? I would say, and Nate Tosted said this to me in the story that we did last night. How they look on how they line up in game 1 may not be how they line up against South Dakota to start conference play.
Yeah, maybe not, but nothing will help a first. I know Cole's a 5th-year senior, but nothing will help his first start more than being able to maybe pick 2-3 receivers.
Correct.
And not go be running for your life all the time. That could be a big deal.
Let's go with Tosted because here's a roulette kid, another 9-man guy. We heard this story before that is a redshirt freshman. He's going to be the starting left guard on Saturday.
I think I've done that story 7-8 times.
You and me both.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah. What do we make of that battle? Because I think when we left Frisco, I think we thought, well, Jack Lewinsky, guy that started 2 games last year when Empey was hurt, maybe the guy. Devin Lockerby's name we heard. Those are guys that have been here for a bit. Tosted comes and won the job.
Earned the job. And again, that goes back to it's just not handed to you because you're here. And you've been here 2-3 years. You got to do the job. And not to say those other guys won't see action either.
Right. I think
and they could earn it back.
7 or 8 offensive linemen are going to play.
Indeed bad.
And you're talking about another true freshman. Ryan Babbitts is going to play. Get ready for see number big 76 out there. You can't miss him because he's 6'5", 300 pounds, true freshman out of Buffalo, Minnesota. He's going to play on Saturday as well. Nate Schneckloff is going to play, number 72. On top of the guys that you know, Bo Johnson is going to be the left tackle. Josh Mangan's going to be the right tackle. And we know Empey and Fraley are the other 2 starters.
Well, Empey and Fraley, those are 2 great solid pieces right up the gut,
pretty good
right
to
up
work
the middle.
With there. Yep.
So, yeah, I just I don't know if Citadel has enough on defense at this stage of the rebuilding career of Murray Straighton. They have transfers now, which is new.
Yep. They do have that.
A lot of graduate.
I'll get to the Citadel in a second.
Yeah.
That to me, those are the big ones. We're going to save a little bit more. We have our first Bison Media Zone video blog coming up later today. You can check that out at inforum.com. That's year 14, 15 of that. Believe that?
Yeah.
We're old, man.
Well, we started that, and I remember...
in the garage here at WDAY.
Yeah, but we started that when, I think it was after the 2008 crash when we thought, okay, we need to make ourselves as valuable as we can. And so we started doing the blog, and then that turned into the video blog, and it just sort of built on each other. Enjoy it. Obviously, longevity, it means we're doing something right, I guess.
People must like it. There's no doubt. Defensively, the linebackers is something that I know you've written about. I'm really interested to see Donovan Woolen. I think Donovan Woolen has a chance to just blossom this year at a position that Enoch Sivamana transferring may not have been the worst thing in the world, Jeff, at that spot.
Well, I think Enoch wanted to go back to safety because he put himself at safety on the transfer portal. Heard he's back at linebacker now in Wyoming.
Correct.
And not starting.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I think Donovan Woolen would have challenged him anyway.
I agree with that. I think there would have been a healthy battle during spring ball had it transpired, and it obviously didn't. So you've got Woolen there. Staling has been waiting for this opportunity. What did Grant Olson call him last year? The best third-string linebacker in the country because he was behind 2 6-year guys in Wirtz and Kubitz.
Well, now he wouldn't mind to be in the best first-string linebacker in the country. Obviously, teammates think a lot of Staling because they voted a captain as a junior.
Yes.
They voted Cole Payton as a captain, even though he hasn't started a game yet. So obviously the teammates are invested in those 2 guys in being leaders.
Staling's a beast. He's a uber talented player, and I think Bison fans, and something we've talked about, maybe not having the athleticism the last few, and that's no slight on Kubitz who's playing in the NFL or Luke Wirtz. I think it's a different body type that Staling brings to the middle linebacker spot.
Yeah, they haven't had we've said it on the show, they haven't had a linebacker this big since, when did Nick DeLuca leave? 2017?
17 was his last year.
6'3", 245.
That's a long time ago, too.
Yeah.
That's 8 years ago at that. On the back end, which was something we had no idea, that's the one area where, God, Bison have known quantities back there with Ryan Jones back there, Jalen Crumby and Darius Givens. Darius Givens, I think, is going to be an all-conference player at safety. And the cornerbacks, I think, Guy, you wrote a story about Antoine Booth, another one to keep our eyes on. Number 10, transfer from James Madison.
Well, curious to see how he plays in games. I'm not going to, earmark this guy as being great until I see him play.
No, but I think he's going to get some. I think he's going to play.
Get a chance.
Yeah.
But this whole group includes the coaching staff, too. They've all grown up together in a way with Devin Kleiman, with Will Johnson in corners.
Yep.
You know, I think Devin was a young coach, and that was his first full-time position job.
And was going against Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter out of the box.
And so I talked to him for a story I'm doing later on Devin, but I think he, in a sense, too, grew with the group.
Yeah.
And now here we are a year later, and there's just such a difference.
Look at how they were against South Dakota State in the semifinal and Montana State in the championship.
Yeah, Ryan Jones just grew up.
Right. Where did that come from? Right. I mean, Ryan Jones was a guy who got benched at times last year, then became the savior on the back end of the Bison defense.
Yeah, you remember Colorado? There was a couple times where the Bison safeties are looking in the air like they didn't know where the ball was.
Where the ball was. No, they were lost out there. And then Jones is coming up flying from the safety position to make TFLs in the semifinal against the Jacks.
Yeah, Shadur was throwing up balls so high they were like punts. And you could have fair caught some of those passes, and they still couldn't figure it out.
Coaching staff-wise, that's my last question before we break, and then we talk about the Citadel. The changes there. Is that something... Is that readily noticeable? Obviously, Dan Larson's calling the plays now. We saw how different it was from Jake Landry to Tyler Roll. I'm wondering how different it's going to be from Dan Larson to Jake Landry.
Me too. We all are.
Quarterback.
Yeah, we all are. I mean, you can't really tell in practice because it's just practice, but we all are. Is he going to be conservative? Is he going to open it up a little bit with Cole right away? Is he going to throw on the first series? Is the first play going to be a 20-yard out? Or is it going to be the old off-tackle A-gap dive?
Well, see, my usual source...
Paulsek used to show us the first play.
Well, my usual source on that was Hedberg, and now he's not there.
Yeah.
So I don't think Joe Bishoner is going to tell me on Saturday before the game what the first play is going to be out of the chute. So I'm left in the dark on that, but that's another guy that when Cole Payton comes off the sideline, it's not Randy Hedberg, it's going to be Joe Bishoner talking to him in his ear.
I think that's a story that needs to play out. You know, I don't know how you can really evaluate coaches right now in practice. You can't, from our standpoint. Let's just see how it plays out for 2-3 non-conference games and then talk about it.
Yeah, on the defensive side, everything there is the same. Outside of Nick Gazer no longer there, which is another Rock of Gibraltar member of the staff with Cody Morgan taking over. Again, we talk about a spot that undergone some transit. I mean, there's no Mo starts there anymore. Cody Heisman left in the portal. There's some changeover now where Jackson Dutenheffer was voted a captain is going to be the guy that everybody's looking at now.
Yeah, and Tim thinks he's really elevated his game, too.
I would agree with that.
A little more explosive, talking about Jackson.
I think you look at him physically, he looks different than he did even a couple years ago. And he was a solid player last year, rotating with the Mo starts. I think he could be prime for a big year, Mandan guy there. So,
you know what I'm just curious before we go to break?
Yeah, man.
South Dakota State and Sac State. South Dakota State, when I did the preview last week.
Do you think that game's going to be close? I don't. I think the Jacks are going to run all over
them. They lost 19 guys to the portal, the Jacks.
Yes.
19.
Yeah.
That's 19 starters, potentially.
That's a lot. There's no doubt.
That's amazing. We've never seen this in the modern era of college football. This is like a study, if you will. Can you lose 19 starters?
And still be good?
And still be number 2 in the country?
Personally, I think Sac State is way overrated. I think the Jacks are going to roll them.
I'm not talking about the seniors they lost either.
I know, right. And they lost a ton of guys there that graduated, no doubt about it. There's a difference of opinion in this building on the Jacks. I would say some are with my camp, and some are thinking they're not going to be in the top couple of spots in the Missouri Valley. I think the first 2 games you got to take out. I do. I think they're going to crush Sacramento State, and I think Montana State will probably get them in Bozeman. And then the next 2 are against 2 non-scholarship teams, or your guys in Mercyhurst and Dayton, something like that.
They're your guys.
No, your guys in
my guys are Lindenwood.
So then when we get to Valley play, that's when we start. I think that's when we start evaluating the Jacks. It's not going to be till September 27th or October 5th, whatever it is. That's when we start evaluating.
How about Southern Illinois open up with Thomas More, Division II school?
Come on,
for 2 years.
I gave Nick Hill a hard time about that when we were at Valley Media Day.
I
I'm
look up
come
Thomas,
on,
who?
Yeah, you're not a great philosopher mind. I don't know.
Evidently not.
All right, we'll break. We come back. We'll introduce you to the Citadel. What's going on with the Bulldogs and Maurice Drayton's team? That's coming up. They got to transfer a quarterback as well, it looks like, for their opener. We'll do that on the other side of the break. Hot Mike, back after this. Welcome back, everybody. Got a bunch of emails coming in for our guy Kolpack.
A bunch of emails.
Hey, love you.
Are you sending these to yourself?
I am not. This is... I'll name him because I met him my hellacious day at the airport this summer when I was waiting to go back to New York.
As your John Candy impression?
John Bauer is the guy's name by heart. He grew up in Dickinson. He lives in Charleston. Emailed me. He said, high of 80, but humidity at 80% with slight chance of rain. Also, one interesting fact, US 52, Kolpack, begins in North Dakota and ends in Charleston. Did you know that? I did not know that. So there you go. So those that are by Highway 52, get on there. And our engineers just left. They could just have done that and ride it all the way to Charleston. Take the big truck that way.
They're going to get there Friday, left today. Going to get there Friday?
That's the anticipated. They got a couple stops along the way. That is a long trip for our van. Another email. Dom, where does the love for everything Bison rank today versus 8 years ago? Is everything Bison football ratings gold star still? I know for me it's starting to be turn off the show material. Well, that's fine. Your prerogative. I would tell you our analytics, and you can speak to this as well more than I can, any Bison football stuff still does amazingly well.
Yep.
Amazingly well. I can tell you our ratings for the football games are really good. I can tell you our ratings for our preview shows were great.
Page views for they haven't they've gotten better. They've actually increased in the last 10 years.
Yep.
And just like I think the Inform model of the e-paper has really taken off in the last 3, 4, 5 years. And contrary to public opinion out there, people, journalism is alive and well.
Yep.
And I know some papers are dying, but they just haven't really figured out the new model.
Right, they haven't updated with what they needed to do.
No.
Yeah, I think for what we do, and I'll be self-congratulatory on this, we were ahead of the curve on it, and our combined way of doing it is pretty darn good. So for people that are that's fine. You're sick of it. That's fine. I would hope you don't turn the show off. We're pretty darn. It's not all Bison all the time, but it's pretty darn good.
If I'm a publisher out there and I'm in somewhere across the country and I'm looking around, I'm calling Bill Marcel Jr. and saying, "Okay, what are you doing?
Are you trying to get on Bill's private plane now to go? You want to leave like tomorrow to get to Charleston? Is that why you're shouting him out here?" No comment. That's exactly it. All right. So the Citadel.
Are you accusing me of buttering people up? Is that what you're accusing me of?
Never would do that. So it looks like we don't know. Maurice Streeton told me on Friday, he said, we have 3 quarterbacks, which I know normally means we don't have any, but he doesn't. I don't know if he knows who his quarterback is going to be.
Oh, I think he might know. He's not going to say. Well,
I think it might be this guy.
Just like UND, why would you tell K-State who your quarterback's going to be?
I think it's going to be this guy, Quentin Hayes, who transferred in from Air Force, who made 6 starts for the Falcons last year. Big guy. He can move. I'm not sure how accurate he is. I mean, that's a nice throw there. But I think this is the guy that's going to be taking the snaps on Saturday. I think you're right, though. We could see a couple guys, but I think he's going to be the guy starting for the Citadel come Saturday.
Ran a triple option offense, so that's obviously nothing new, and that's been the Citadel's mark for how many years? Forever.
I think that's, if you're Grant Olson and trying to prepare for what we're going to see on Saturday, that's probably the guy and he just got there. He transferred in late June, I want to say, left the Air Force Academy to go to the Citadel. But this is a roster that is ever-changing as well, and Drayton admitted that fully, that we're still not talent-wise where we need to be. They went from 0 wins to 5 wins in 2024, and their schedule's not easy this year. Their first 2 home games are NDSU and then Mercer. That's not easy on the schedule.
I'm talking to Coach Drayton today. So,
awesome. He's fantastic.
Yeah, and he knows how to get the word out on Mercer, and obviously I think he's doing it the right way. I just they're getting transfers now.
Yep.
That's new.
Yep.
That's new to the Citadel.
The atmosphere, I think, is going to be dynamite. It's going to be a sold-out crowd there. I'm really interested to see what the turnout is locally, and frankly, how many Bison fans. Because I know the Bison administration are selling this as a destination or do a 2-for-1. Hey, come to Charleston, then stay and go to Nashville next week. I don't know how many are going to do that.
I know several that are doing it, so if that's any indication, I'm sure there's probably going to be a decent number.
What would be your number then for this weekend, Bison fans?
1,000?
What do you think? It's a long way to go.
But you got fans in the East Coast.
You do. There's more. We know in Tennessee, I certainly know that they're there.
Yeah, one of my best high school buddies is driving down from North Carolina. I think there's a lot of those stories that'll be those kind of people that will be there. I got friends from Nashville, from Bismarck that are going to. I know people. They're making it. Charleston's a cool place. I've heard.
Yeah. Well, you'll hear Coach Drayton sold it for us on Friday's show. He gave us all spots to hit before the game, so he was upset. He lost his parking spot because it got taken up by the Bison tailgaters for the game.
Oh, that's his parking spot?
On Saturday. So The intriguing thing to me, it's 11 a.m. We're going Bison game day. We're leading you right to the kickoff, 11 a.m. So it's get up and time to play football, which I think we're all appreciative of because then we can get out of there a little bit earlier. But the game one is always sloppy. You know what I mean? It's always something because there's no preseason. This is right out of the chute, and it's a game that counts. That's why I'm intrigued to see how this plays out for each of these teams. Of if NDSU is a little off, does the Citadel make this a closer game than maybe some of the experts think?
Well, we talk about Cole making his first start at quarterback. What would you rather have Citadel, who maybe they know, maybe they don't,
Right?
But you certainly know what Cole brings to the table. I don't know if Citadel knows exactly what their quarterbacks are going to bring. Cole's played; he's played a lot.
Yeah, I think I asked 7 or 8 different players about him throwing. Each of them just kind of shook their head at me.
Just
Bryce Lance said,
just shut up.
Bryce Lance said he can spin it. That was an official from Bryce Lance when we were in Sioux Falls for Bison Media Day, and that was the end of it. That was my end of my. Once Bryce told me that, I'm like, all right.
I stopped asking too after the first
Our next
day.
guest is going to get mad at me because I'm going to ask him. His Hedberg is coming on after you, and I know he's going to get on me about asking me about.
Is
Cole
he coming into the
Payton.
studio?
No, he's going to be on Zoom today, but.
Why? What else does he have to do?
He's on vacation, I'm sure. Although he's at practice probably more now than he was when he was working.
Him and Gazer.
But
see them more now.
See, look at that. You see who was behind him? See who was behind Matt Entz on the sidelines on Saturday?
Yeah. Oh. Where's Waldo?
That's a great point. Oh, man. He was never on the sideline. I get his thoughts on that.
Yeah, I wonder what it's like. Ask him what the view is like down
I know
there.
he's too used to being up top. He loves being up there. He was down on the sidelines of the game.
Oh, looks like they got him a shirt there.
Yeah, he's a big deal.
Yeah.
He doesn't mess around. Real quick, before we go, if you missed it and you were alluding to it, the Bison named their captains late last week. Chris Harris is one of them. And that is one of the ultimate stories in recent memory. Young man who walked on from El Paso, Texas, son of in a military family. His mom was overseas, never saw him play a game until a couple years ago. In person in the stands, which was amazing. And now got a scholarship last year and now is voted a team captain. That's one of the more remarkable runs that I can remember.
Well, pretty much pined it for 3 years.
Yes.
Redshirted.
Yes.
Didn't play. Got some special teams work as a sophomore. But you thought, okay, this guy
one catch.
would probably, you just sort of forgot about that he would maybe be a part of the receiver rotation last year. And again, he's just such a solid dude. And those guys, and that goes a long way.
Yes.
When you got it upstairs and you have the toughness, you're 6'3". He's obviously probably gotten faster since he's been here, stronger. They have big receivers, man.
Yeah, they do.
God,
Yep.
what's Bryce, 6'3"?
Bryce is 6'3", Mackay's 6'5".
Is he 6'5"?
He might be 6'5" now. He's not a small man there, so and they're doing all right. It just he's always been well spoken. I remember when we got our first tour of the indoor practice facility. He was there.
He was
you remember
the only guy
that?
in there.
And he was looking at his nameplate
wow.
on the locker room.
I
That
kind of
stuck
made
with
it.
me. Yes.
He saw his nameplate and he could just If you were to put words on the caption on that photo, Chris Harris is sitting in the NDSU new locker room by himself, looking at his name and wondering, okay, I'm
here.
I'm still here.
Yep.
I'm making it.
Yep. I thought that to me totally embodied what he has gone through and done and put himself in this spot where now, I mean, he became one of Cam Miller's guys. He's been roommates with Cole Payton for the last 4 years. So if you don't think there's any connectivity there, any symmetry, they're on the same wavelength, you're going to see it probably come game one on Saturday.
Grant Gores. I mean, here's a guy who walked on and you thought, okay, maybe he'll give it a shot. He's still there.
My guy, Johnny
and he's making plays. Or did I say Grant? That's his brother, John.
Johnny's going to be.
I keep screwing those up. I'm sorry, Jerry. But yeah, he we see him making plays in practice all the time.
He's going to be a guy. I'm telling you right now. How many touchdowns did he have? 2 last year? He might have 5 touchdowns this year.
Yeah,
I'm going to put that out.
I'll bet you dinner on that. I think I owe you dinner, actually.
5.
5 dinners?
No, 5 touchdowns. I'll take a bet.
Okay.
Let's do the bet.
All right.
Last thing. When we were at the NFL draft in 2016, now almost 10 full years removed, in your wildest dreams, that Carson Wentz would now be a Minnesota Viking. If I would have told you that then, what would your head have blown up?
No. I mean, he was an NFL prospect and the thought of playing close to home at some point. No.
Yeah, it's just kind of wild how the world works on that.
Well,
but
you talk about a franchise that doesn't mess around, man.
The Vikes?
Oh,
yeah.
Their backups, we don't like it. And they blew it up.
Yeah, if they don't like it, they're going to go. And that's
they
exactly
didn't blow
what
it up
happened.
in early August.
No.
They blew it up before the first game.
Great to see it. We'll see you later today for our
Sounds
video
good.
blog. We are off and rolling. Kolpack will have stories all week long. You check it out, inforum.com. Tim Polisek's season opening press conference tomorrow at 1:30. You'll catch that live on WDAY Plus and inforum.com. We'll break. We come back. Oh, do I have to say legend? Randy Hedberg will join us on Carson signing with the Vikings, apparently moonlighting with Fresno State, and whatever else we'll hit. That's coming up. We come back.